And what's going on, guys? And welcome in to the Bench is Clear podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the San Francisco Giants.
And I'm Tyler Coe, and you already know I represent the 2020 World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers.
Hey, were you
got
trying
a
to rhyme?
whole nother year of that.
Were you trying to rhyme?
No, it's a natural thing.
It just flows?
It's a natural ability I have.
Well, we're gonna break down the NBA draft and every single pick that is happening at this moment. LaMelo Ball, you're not a huge basketball guy, right?
Yeah. LaMelo going to Charlotte. It'll be
now
boring as fuck.
Everyone's saying that LeVar now has to play MJ one-on-one.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they can make it happen now. Why not?
Never lost.
Never lost.
There's a lot of things not a lot of things we got to get into, but some definite headline stories. First of all, the thing that just broke today would be Robinson Cano gets suspended all of next year for testing positive for PEDs again.
Dude, the Mets are stoked. They don't have to pay him $24 million.
I guess that makes sense.
He forfeits his whole salary. And the Mariners are stoked. They get off the hook for like $4 million now. They save money. The Mets save money.
Do we know how many years he has left on that contract?
I can't imagine it's more than 2. I don't think this is the last one. So I think there's 2 left. But yeah, the Mets are stoked.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. You get to drop all that freaking payroll. That's kind of nice. I mean, I feel like he's still good.
He did have a good short season.
He was also on PEDs, but I guess
there's also that.
We can't exactly. We're not going to know everything.
Well, so is Barry Bonds. So I guess there goes your argument.
That's different. He was good before he was on PEDs. You need to chill.
So was Robinson Cano.
Okay. So he's still good. Period.
So who knows? Maybe he was taking PEDs that whole time.
Who?
Barry Bonds and Robinson Cano.
There's no way. There's no way. Right. I mean, you could tell that the definite body. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, of course. All right.
Get the fuck out of here. Is he on your Hall of Fame ballot?
Barry Bonds?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
for the sake of this show? Absolutely not.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, but I was gonna say if you were legitimately saying no, I was just gonna call you a homer bitch. But I guess that makes sense. I don't fault you for that. Lots of headlines. Drew Smyly obviously not returning to the Giants because he is going to be a Brave. The Braves just taking the Giants' best. Every single time the Giants have a good lefty, they're just gonna take him. Will Smith gone. Drew Smyly gone. Bums me out because I did want to re-sign him, but.
I remember we had the conversation. You were like, "Yeah, he was one of the top 2 pitchers we had. Gone."
Yeah. Well, Kevin
Gausman.
Yeah. I mean, for fucking $18.9 million. So, shit.
At least,
they're.
Yeah, you guys aren't going to sign anyone else. So.
No, I guarantee you they're going to sign another starter. I'm not sure. Also, we didn't even mention Jason. Jason, is it Aubrey Huff back here?
He was.
Aubrey Huff.
Fucking loser.
Jump around like a little bitch. Yeah, I don't know. They were talking about how they were going to sign another lefty infielder as well as Vossler, which we didn't even talk about it, which is kind of weird. I think we just forgot because the Tyler Heineman episode, we just kept going and that just kind of got lost in the shuffle. But major league contract for someone who, hasn't really had a major league season, so it's obviously they believe in the dude. So I'm excited to see what he could do, but I would expect them to sign another lefty infielder. They said that's what they want. Probably someone that can maybe play a little bit of outfield too, I'm guessing.
Like Kike Hernandez, who I predicted going to the Giants. So
he's not a free agent, right?
Yeah, he is.
He is.
Yeah.
Really?
Dude, I would not be surprised if he went to San Francisco.
I would be very surprised if he did. I don't think that he's no. Fuck, I don't know.
Okay.
You've been your guesses have been way better than mine.
That's
As
true.
far as actually
It's
coming true
almost
stuff.
like I just know more. So maybe Barry Bonds shouldn't be a Hall of Famer, but
Maybe,
I digress.
maybe you just know the future. You're a time traveler and a fucking witch.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about some good things, some good news. Major League Baseball had a breakthrough this past week. The Marlins hired Kim Ng as their GM. She was actually a finalist for the GM position for the Giants, and they ended up picking Scott Harris, obviously, over her. But dude, that resume is long and legit, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the only way you can say it, but it's I mean, it's a shame that it took this long. I mean, I know everyone has said that, but what else can you say that hasn't been said? But
Yeah. I mean, she's coming into a pretty decent situation. I feel like the expectations for the Marlins are still fairly low, but they proved that they're a decent team by making it to the playoffs, especially with having a bunch of nobodies on their roster. So I think she comes into a good situation, and she's obviously, I mean, I would hope would do better than the last
do you
people that were there. But
do you think if they don't make the postseason next year, let's say they do expanded playoffs, and there is 16 teams and they don't make the postseason next year, do you think it's going to be on her? Do
fuck
you think
no,
they're going to be upset
absolutely not.
because
I mean, I'm sure some people
when
will
people
because
make
you
the
always have someone
playoffs,
to blame. You always
yeah.
want to have someone to blame, but yeah, how can you give someone 1 year to turn a dog shit franchise around? And if they
Well,
don't,
the only argument is because they made the postseason last year, and they would have made the postseason even if it wasn't 16 teams. But I would agree with you. I don't think you can because they barely just squeaked in.
yeah,
But I know that will definitely be a conversation.
yeah. I mean, with how close her and Derek Jeter are, I don't think. I mean, he's going to be behind
Yeah,
her all the way and lobbying
yeah,
for her. So I don't see that
yeah,
happening. But crazier things have happened, I suppose.
yeah. I mean, I just it's huge for women in sports and especially in obviously in baseball. But I think there's obviously still more shit to be done. I think there's going to be a female MLB player in our lifetime. Um, but I find it funny. Like I know like you can't like people can't come out and say, oh, we don't like her because she's a girl. But you kind of show it when you say things like, well, yeah, if she's qualified. Like, bro, they're literally posting, like, you're commenting on the post where it says all of her fucking qualifications,
Right.
and she is more than qualified to be a GM. And no one, for instance, when Scott Harris was picked, no one faulted him for being like 34. They would joke about it, saying that Buster Posey is older than him. I don't think he's 34, but I forget. I'm messing up the age just a little bit, but Buster Posey is like a year older than him, and no one would like be like, oh, is he qualified? Is he qualified? It was like, I mean, they would always point to Cubs 2016 World Series. He was part of it. That's it. But she doesn't
Yeah.
get the same respect. She was part of World Series with the Yankees. A lot of success when she was with
I
her
think
time with
with
the
the White
Dodgers.
Sox
And
too, if I'm not mistaken.
really,
I think she was there in '05, if
yeah,
I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Don't quote
yeah.
me on that. But
If your
yeah,
first if your first reaction is, well, if she's qualified, you're probably sexist. I mean,
yeah. I mean, but that should be your reaction to everyone. I mean, that's
yeah,
the vetting process. No major league team is going after someone to shape their franchise who isn't qualified. All these people are qualified. They may not do a good job, but they're
yeah.
all qualified. I mean, this is a
You gotta give
billion-dollar
her respect.
organization. They're not fucking idiots.
She was just an assistant GM. The next step up would be a
A
GM.
GM, right?
So that's what I'm saying. Obviously, you have to know what the qualifications are. But if you're looking at a post that says her qualifications, and then you say something like, "Well, if she's qualified," then you're kind of a dick. Like I don't know what else to say. Yeah, great day for
Yeah.
women in sports. If you have a problem with women in sports, you're a bitch.
Then
Well,
you're
these are
probably Aubrey Huff, who is certainly a
who
bitch.
is a bitch. Thank you. If we can have one wish. Okay, this is not a genie where you get 3 wishes, but you do get 2 categories, Tyler. Okay, we're gonna do a free agent wish and a trade wish. Okay, it has to be reasonable. You
Okay.
can't just ask for you know Francisco Lindor and give him nobody. It has to be kind of reasonable. To give you a little bit of time, because I just sprung this on you, I'm gonna go first with my free agent wish. Is going to be, unfortunately, because Marcus Stroman is already taken. I'm going to go with Charlie Morton because we do need more starting pitching. I don't believe Trevor Bauer is in the conversation for the Giants because they just spent $19 million on Kevin Gausman. Obviously, Trevor Bauer is better. I'd rather have Trevor Bauer, but I don't think it's in the cards. Charlie Morton is such a underrated dude. I think, especially like on a 1 or 2 year deal, I feel like that would be huge. And maybe even a backup, Jake Odorizzi. They're already in talks, so who knows?
I mean, I think my big free agent's Trevor Bauer. I don't think there's any everyone kind of knows that, but it depends on the terms. I mean, if he truly wants to stick to that 1 year deal crap, then no, I don't want him.
Really?
Yeah, because I think
that's a no-go for you.
No, I think the point of having him is having for at least a few years when who knows if Clayton Kershaw, how many more years he has. I mean, I'm sure after next year we'll re-sign him again, for a year or two.
A couple years, yeah.
David Price, I think, is going to be gone after this year. No matter if he pitches or not, we don't even know if he's going to pitch. And I mean, you can make the argument that the Dodgers still have a starting 5 without David Price. We went all last year without him, but who knows? I mean, it would be nice to have. You can play around with Urias, Gonsolin, and May in the bullpen, one of those guys, and have Trevor Bauer. But I don't know. I'm sticking with Trevor Bauer.
That's good. All right. Well, I'm going to drop a bomb. I'm going to have a blockbuster trade. They were willing to give a bunch of money to Bryce Harper. I'm going to give that money to pay someone else's contract, someone who destroys the Giants, someone that does well at that ballpark, and that's going to be a blockbuster trade. Nolan Arenado is coming to San Francisco, in return, it's going to be Evan Longoria to offset a little bit of money, just a little bit, and give him some solid prospects. I would give him Seth Corey. That's the guy's in the top 100. They do want pitching, so I'd maybe even throw in a Sean Jelly and maybe even Alexander Canario. Giants pick up the rest of that money. Obviously, besides the offset of them giving them Evan Longoria's contract just for 2 years. And Nolan Arenado is a Giant, and it's going to be great. I'm excited.
Never
One
happened.
of my favorite players.
Never happened. Just to kind of throw a big fuck you in your face, I'll also go with Nolan Arenado. However, I think
said reasonable.
I think he's not going to go anywhere, and he's just going to opt out next year. I think that's going to be what's going to happen. So, but if the Dodgers wanted to be aggressive,
in this storm where people are not paying people, no, he's opting in. He's making $30 million. He's fine.
Relax. So my blockbuster trade, the Dodgers give him Gavin Lux, good fucking riddance. Don't want him. They give him Gavin Lux, Kyber Ruiz, and then throw in. You keep Gonsolin and May. You don't let them go. Okay. But then you throw in a top pitching prospect, and I don't know. I think it gets it done, but I don't necessarily think the Dodgers need to go that route. It would be nice. I would love having Nolan Arenado, but
gosh,
it's just kind of a luxury. Machado, baby. We don't really need him.
No, and oh man, that would be so fucking huge. Nolan Arenado batting 4th. Gosh,
yeah,
baby, 40 bombs a year.
But I guarantee it's not going to happen. So
well, you're also a bitch who doesn't know anything. So you already used your one Hail Mary for a win last season. Like you can't be that right more than once. Okay. Like that's it. You got your one extra. That's it.
We'll see.
Okay. Now we're going to go to polls. Poll time. Here's the polls. They fill my soul. I don't know. I can't. I'm not
Remember
that
how
much of a
good I
rhymer. I think it's
rhymed
kind of.
earlier in the episode? You should have
I just
had me
rhymed
do
pole
full
with
time.
soul. I said pole with soul. I just can't do a third one. And Steve rhymed male whale. He did the entire thing in that, and I can't. I just can't compete.
You're
If
right.
you could compete with Steve, you'd be Steve. So you could suck a dick.
You're just a major bitch. Anyways,
Roll time. We are going with the best starter of the Giants rotation last year. It's overwhelmingly Kevin Gossman, 85%. Johnny Cueto got some love and Logan Webb got some love. That's just wrong. I mean, obviously I love the two dudes, but Cueto, I mean, I'm hoping for at least a little bit of a rebound next year. Not expecting too much. I don't think he's going to be the ace, obviously. Logan Webb can obviously take a huge jump up for next year, but last year's numbers just weren't there. Obviously, Drew Smyly didn't get any love, even though he was better than Johnny Cueto and Logan Webb. So I don't get it. But Kevin Gossman, all the way. New ace.
Jesus. For the Dodgers poll, overwhelmingly Clayton Kershaw, 73%. Urias, May, and Gonsolin got some votes sprinkled in there. And I think Urias definitely deserves, I don't know, second, third place, and Gonsolin kind of competing for second and third place. Because we're talking regular season here, right? Or are we talking okay. Yeah, if we're talking regular season, it's Clayton Kershaw.
I think that was open for speculation though. So like if someone would to add both of it together because it just said 2020, you can make an argument there.
Yeah, and that's why I would have put Buehler on there if we were including the postseason. But Buehler didn't pitch much and didn't pitch all that well in the regular season. So yeah, Clayton Kershaw, I believe he went 6-2. He looked like old Clayton Kershaw, so
yeah. I mean, it was a shortened season, so I think he kind of emptied the tank a little bit more, so he was able to show more. I mean, I don't think he's going to be that next year if I were to bet, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't bet my life that he isn't either. So
yeah.
There's that. So now we're going to look for some more positives. Biggest surprise of 2020, Donnie Barrels. I'm not sure why we were that surprised because how good he was 2 years ago, but I mean to sustain. I mean, yeah, it was a short season, but to sustain what he did through that 60 games is still really huge. Gosh, I feel like Caleb Berger should have got a little bit more love just because he was a Rule 5 guy. He like literally any team could have had him, and they missed out on him, and he just unless you're paying attention to the minor league system, pretty closely because he wasn't like a top prospect. He came out of fucking nowhere. Even Austin Slater, I feel like is more of a surprise than Donnie Barrels just because, of 2019 and Austin Slater had, a couple of years of not doing that well in major leagues. He's had a really good resume in the minor leagues, but it hasn't translated yet. But yeah, I feel it. I get it. I just don't understand it, if that makes sense, which I feel like it doesn't. I get it, but I don't understand it. Write that on a
you
t-shirt.
sound like a horrible parent when their child's coming out to them.
Uh-huh.
That's what you sound like. You sound like an asshole right now.
I get it. I get it. I just don't understand. I don't get your lifestyle.
For the Dodgers, for the biggest surprise, we have a tie here, and I think this is the perfect result here. You have AJ Pollock and Victor Gonzalez getting 35% of the vote. I think Victor Gonzalez was the biggest surprise as far as guys you weren't expecting.
Yeah, coming out of nowhere. I had no idea what the fuck Victor Gonzalez was.
Right. And especially if you take into account a few years ago, he was going to quit baseball because he couldn't throw strikes. He said he was crying after every game in single A because he just couldn't throw strikes. And then his boy, Julio Urias, pep talked him. And now look at him. He was, huge in the postseason. But I think my answer would go for AJ Pollock because if you remember before the season started, there was talks of him opting out, and I was all for it. I thought this would be great if he opts out. We're going to be a much better team. I was wrong. I was wrong. That was one of the few times I was wrong this season. Just one of the very few.
Listen, I know you hit one bullseye, but let's not pretend that you're the czar of right here. Okay? Like, yes, I will give you your due.
I'm not the czar. It's more of a dictator kind of thing.
Goodness gracious. That's ridiculous. I mean, we have someone in the Twitter feed, Sofa So Samar? Sofa Samar? I'm not sure. I'm definitely not saying that right. Dave Roberts was a big surprise. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing, if what he's saying, because I feel like he wasn't that good. I think they won in spite of Dave Roberts.
Yeah, I think he had some
And
questionable
yeah,
managerial
I mean,
calls.
I think one thing that saved him was that pinch hit, that Kike pinch hit, or was it the Jock pinch
No,
hit for
it was
Kike?
Kike. That was in game
Kike pinch
7.
hitting for Peterson and hitting that ball. I think
Yeah.
that saved him a lot. But yeah, that's all I can think of. Now let's get a little dark here. We're gonna go biggest disappointment, and I'm not sure if I agree totally. I will give it to this guy because right now, fuck saying Coonrod right now. He was the biggest disappointment. I think that had to do with a lot of different things as well. But Sam Coonrod's on there. Next to be Johnny Cueto. Then Joey Bart and Shark were tied. I get why Shark wasn't a disappointment because maybe you were expecting it. But for me, it had to be Joey Bart. I had a lot of big hopes for him, and
You
um,
sure did.
I thought it was it, which I still think he is it. I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just saying that I thought he was going to come up and rake. That was the biggest disappointment for me to see him struggle and with defense and obviously offense. But you know, next year's a new year, Joey. Go freaking hit 30 and make me happy.
30. Jesus Christ. Keep
30
dreaming.
bombs, baby.
For the Dodgers, biggest disappointment. Everyone's pretty much said Kenley Jansen, and I'm going to disagree.
Yeah, I would disagree for sure.
Because I don't think the expectations are that high for Kenley Jansen anymore.
But he didn't have a really bad year, though.
He didn't have. No, he didn't. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't what you're paying him for. So I understand the disappointment in that. But when
But you're
you
also
have
making
someone,
up for context of what you're paying him for. You're also paying him for being underpaid when he was dominant and the guy.
sure,
So I wouldn't say that. But I mean, I feel like Kenley Jensen kind of gives a bad rap for Dodger fans just because the microscope is so tight on him. If he was putting up these numbers and was a closer for the fucking Mets, people would think he's great.
yeah. Well, if we were a shit team, sure, but we're not. I'm going with Cody Bellinger. I mean, when you have someone who was the MVP the season before, and he didn't come anywhere close to that all season. I mean, he had little 2-3 game hot streaks, but it wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the playoffs, he was decent, but it wasn't. We're not paying him. We're not paying him anything. I mean, he's getting money on arbitration, but
honestly, if you looked at his total postseason number, I'm not sure exactly what he did in the World Series, but they broke down. I heard someone break down what his numbers were for postseason before the World Series, and it was pretty good. It wasn't MVP Cody, but it wasn't 2020 Cody either. So
yeah,
I think what happened to some people like Cody Bellinger and like Christian Yelich is I feel like it kind of got in their head when they had a slow start and they were like, "Shit, I got 60 games, and then like I got to hurry up and get my stats up," and I feel like it just fucked them.
yeah,
And it just got in their head. I mean, in 162, you're like, okay, let me chill for a second, let me get back into my groove, and then they go on a hot streak after however many games. I just feel like maybe just 60 season game got 60 season got into their
60
head.
game season.
60
There you go.
60 season 4
There
seasons.
you go.
The landscaping company.
Yes, of course. The only one that exists as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tyler Beatty with the San Francisco Giants, and you're here listening to Benches Cleared podcast with Jesse Gutierrez and Tyler Coe. Go Giants, beat LA.
As always, this episode was brought to you by Renovation Candle Company, who is running their Black Friday deals already. Use code BF30 for 30% off your entire order all the way until November 29th.
That's right. BF30, which of course stands for Best Friends times 30, because we are all best friends. Thank you guys for listening. We will be taking next week off. We will probably come back next week unless nothing happens. We might take an extra little siesta, but we will be back. Don't fret. We will always be here for you, Chancho. We will never leave you. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much for participating in our giveaway. and we will announce the winners. How about right now? The Giants side for the cup and the pop socket goes to the Santy Pants 70 at the Pants 70. Oh, same thing. Yeah, we'll be contacting you, getting that stuff out to you as soon as possible.
And for the Dodgers, we have Ray Colazzo at Ray Colazzo 82. You won a much better looking cup and pop socket than the Giants fan. So congratulations. Thank you for being in the giveaway.
Talking shit about my wife's cups?
Oh no, I'm just saying it just looks shitty with the Giants logo.
You're ready to hurt my feelings.
Well, I'm gonna go kill myself. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you guys for listening. Fuck Aubrey Huff. Make sure to be subscribed to us on your favorite podcasting platform and YouTube. Leave us a review to help us grow. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Goodbye.